They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I'd have mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in 01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King Kirk. Brooklyn Nets gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King Kirk, your host of the OG 2 Cents podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you who continue to tune in each and every week. We truly appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Helps us out a lot. Links for all available streaming platforms will be in the description. Let's continue to stand against any forms of social injustice and racism, and also hashtag see more love is anyway. This episode is brought to you by Zenni Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks virtual clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful blue light from your digital screens, so you have less eye strain, and that makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at zenni.com/gaming or follow them at Zenni Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. This episode 75, Queen City Phenom with Rigby Burnett Jr., a.k.a. Rigby, starting shooting guard for Hornets Venom GT. Rigby was selected by Hornets Venom GT with the 8th overall pick of the 2021 NBA 2K League draft. In his rookie year, he averaged 22.8 points per game and 5.4 assists, despite sharing backcourt duties with veteran point guard Sherm. Rigby made headlines when he led the Hornets Venom to a banner in the turn and ultimately winning the tournament MVP, the first ever rookie to do so. Along with the fellow rookie teammate Crown, Rigby was awarded one of the 5 spots on the NBA 2K League All-Rookie team. He also was one of the 2 rookies to play in the league's historic and inaugural All-Star game. Most recently, Rigby and his Pro-Am team, No Tolerance, won the UPA 15K Fall Series, an in-person LAN event held in Dallas, Texas. Not by surprise, he was named tournament MVP for that as well. So without further ado, I bring to you none other than Rigby. So Rigby, man, what's going on with you?
What's going on, Kurt? Not much going on over here.
Hey, now you had a phenomenal rookie season. Put in the work. Obviously, a lot of people are vying for the NBA 2K League spot. I think you took full advantage of it and had an outstanding season. I want you to talk about your story and how you got, to where you are today, and don't leave anything out. I mean, because a lot of people need to hear your story.
A little bit about my story. My name is Rigby Burnett Jr. I'm from a small place in Connecticut called Stratford, right next to Bridgeport. A lot of people might know of that bigger city in Connecticut. A little bit about my story coming up in 2K community. In 2K20, I was jumping team to team. I wasn't really known. I actually went to the Dallas tournament to play with JBM, Saint, and Hami, where we got first rounded, sadly. But yeah, that was like kind of like my first time ever like traveling away from home, and obviously going to play 2K with it. Like my parents weren't fully invested. They were like, "Whoa, like what's going on? What is this? Why are you going to Dallas for this and that?" So after that, I ended up playing pickups, like pickup tens lobbies for maybe like a month straight, just grinding every single night. I was probably in the lobbies for maybe like 12 to 14 hours a day, basically. And then after that, Killy came to me about picking me up to his pre-draft team in 2K20. It was Killy, TB, Peroxide, and Slaughter. So then we ended up winning everything in January, the month of January on Xbox. We were basically dominating the console. And then after that, I took a little break going into post draft because the draft's coming around, and I knew people were gonna start getting drafted. I was gonna have to look for different talent to build my team around. So going into post draft, I kind of had a little less of a soup squad compared to everybody else, but I was still competing because I knew I was the best player in the game. So after post draft, I didn't really win a lot, and a few things happened that led to me to stop playing post draft. But going into 2K21, I didn't really play much tournaments or anything like that. I only played really the league tournaments on current gen with Zerg, Rel, J Numero, and Future Clutch. And then after that, we won the second tournament, which was I actually think it was the Nets. I want to say it was the Nets that we were gonna win, but we were in the Grizzlies finals at the same time, so we actually couldn't play both of them because the Grizzlies ended up ending before, so we had to finish the Grizzlies. But we were in the Nets, but we couldn't play it because we already had won the Grizzlies tournament. So then after that, going into next gen, I didn't really have a team either. I was just playing tens on my demigod build that people would say. And after that, Crown ended up actually hitting me up. He was like, "Yo, like you're dominating right now. Like I think if you join us, we're gonna be the best team on the console." So then I just took that information and I just joined up. I joined up with Crown, Randoms, Don, and Claude, Crown's little brother, and we just dominated the console all the way, basically all the way till draft time came around.
Got you. Now, I mean, that's one heck of a journey. Now, you get drafted. I mean, eighth overall. How did you feel when your name was called, and then knowing where you were going?
When my name was called, I had my whole family there with me. It was just a surreal feeling because they knew straight out of high school this is exactly what I wanted to do, and for them to see the grind all the way up to that point where I was actually getting drafted into the NBA 2K League, it was just a surreal feeling. Now, as far as me going to Charlotte, I was kind of nervous because I didn't really know Sherm and Pete too well. Like we obviously played against each other multiple times, but I didn't really have any conversations with them or never really spoke to them in any type of parties or anything of that nature. So I was definitely on like the little more nervous side going into Charlotte.
Now, I mean, I asked Crown this when I had him on the show. And I'm asking this now because of what you just said about, being unsure, not really knowing Pete and Sherm, but like what were some of the things that you thought about before you got in the market? That maybe you was concerned about, but then when you got there, what was the difference? Like, I mean, like you said, you didn't know Pete and Sherm, but probably you got there and you got to know them. Like, how did things change for you when you actually got into market?
That was probably the least of my worries actually getting into market. Going into Charlotte, that was actually the first time I ever lived by myself. So being in Charlotte for 6 months by myself, having to fend for myself, get food, basically everything of that nature. Fill up my apartment when it was my turn. Me and Sherm were really good with helping each other out. So we would always, one person would get this week, one person would get this the other week. We'd always look out for each other. So going into Charlotte, it was actually easier than I thought it would be. I thought I would have a lot more issues and have to do a whole bunch of different things, but it was actually easier than I thought it would be.
Now, I've never been to Connecticut. So what are some of the big differences between Connecticut and Charlotte?
Connecticut is a small city. Well, no, I live in a small a small town, so it's basically just like you like basically know everybody kind of. You like know all the little streets, know all the little back cuts and stuff. With Charlotte, you're in the middle of you're in the center city. They call it Uptown, so it's basically like downtown Charlotte. And it was just like the scenery and like everything about Charlotte was just 10 times different from Connecticut. So getting used to getting around there was definitely weird for like the first 2 weeks, I would say. But then after I got comfortable with my teammates and we were all just chilling, everything kind of came in all together basically. Yeah.
I got you. Now you got to play for one of the community icons, Big West. My brother, shoot, since day one, this whole NBA 2K journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like tell me what it was like, playing for Big West, and then also give me like a funny Big West moment, because I mean he cracks me up all the time, and like I said, he's funny even when he's not even trying to be funny.
Okay. So playing for Big West was probably one of like the funnest things any like rookie could have going into the league, because he's like just like such a character on and off the court. So he always keeps the spirits high. And we definitely needed his spirits in certain situations when our morale was down, especially after we got swept by the Sixers to lose the second seed. West was just always there to just keep us glued together, and just was just the perfect coach anybody could ask for. As far as the second part of the question, the funniest moment probably had to have been when July 4th, when he made some wings, and everybody was trying to clown him and like joke around, saying that they were like really nasty and all that. And then what, he's like, oh God dog, my wings ain't nasty. Like he be talking with his country accent and stuff. So nah, but his wings were actually really good. Like he had some Hennessy wings, and they were top tier. I'm definitely not gonna lie, those are different.
Got you. Now, getting to the season a little bit. You won the turn, and you was the turn MVP. Now, mind you, I know you was going through some adversity as a team before the turn, and pulled it together, won that, and then you were named MVP. You had a heck of a tournament. I mean,
Appreciate it.
might I add, but just I know that when players come into the league, of course, I mean, winning the tournaments and banners is part of that additional cash prize that every player, they gotta have it. And for you to come in as a rookie and play such a pivotal role in helping your team achieve that, just talk about that for a second.
Coming into the league, even in my interviews, I was telling Wes, whatever position I would be playing, I would make sure that I'm a top 5 player in that field. So you could ask him that himself. I've always been grinding the game and made sure that I was top of the line talent wise, so that when I did get into the league, I would be able to do things such as win tournaments and win them MVPs, because I honed my skills for as long as I possibly could. So I'm coming into the league and actually doing it, and like after telling people that I would do it, it was just a surreal feeling, because I'm versing the best of the best players every single day in scrims and different type of things. So being able to go onto that biggest stage in front of everybody, and I'm sure that why I deserve to be in the league. It was definitely a surreal feeling, especially in my rookie year, because a lot of people, even like 4 years in, and haven't been able to get to that point yet. So it was just a blessing. I was just in a perfect situation to be able to do this.
Got you. Now, made the playoffs, of course. Got a chance to take a trip to Dallas, Texas. What was your experience like? First season making the playoffs. Then, obviously, we've been playing remote,
Mm-hmm.
and this was for the first time, not only for rookies, but even for some sophomores that they were actually going to get a chance to compete in person. If their team qualified for the playoffs. So I want you to talk about, not only making the playoffs, but talking about going from remote into live gameplay and just talk about what that experience was like.
Well, that was my second time playing on the stage in Dallas, going to the 2K League playoffs. But as far as the difference of playing on the stage, like it's just a different atmosphere in the league. Like I don't really know how to explain it. Just the way that like the camera productions are set up, the lights, like you could just tell that it's just like a really big deal. So actually being on the stage for the first time, I definitely had a little bit of butterflies. I'm not gonna lie, and most people lie about things like that, but I definitely had butterflies going into game one, and we got spanked. It's just simple as that. We got beat by I think like 40 something, like 45, maybe 40, whatever it was. It was a huge number. And then going into game two, Crown actually kind of like glued us all together. We were like we basically gave up on game one like halfway through because it was just such a big deficit, and we didn't have enough offensive power at the time to be able to fight that. So going into game two, we knew exactly what we had to do. We basically just executed on all cylinders, and then going into the fourth quarter, we ended up slipping it away. But it was just a fun overall experience, like just 2K League and inviting us out there and having us getting chauffeured back and forth, and all the little cool little league stuff was just all a fun experience.
Got you. Now, not only, you know, of course, turn champs, MVP, made the playoffs. I mean, you capped it off with you becoming an all-star, our first ever all-star game. Yeah, I mean, and then, you know, you make the NBA 2K League all rookie team. Now, if somebody would have asked you before the season, would you have accomplished everything that you did? You know, what would your answer would have been at that time?
I would have said, that's what I should have accomplished. Um, I feel like coming into the league, like I said before, I was grinding, putting every single hour into the game. If I wasn't sleeping, I was on the game grinding, make sure that was top of the line player. So coming into the league, I just knew that I was gonna dominate. Like either it would have been here or it would have been there. I knew I was gonna be a top of the line player, and I knew other players were gonna not. I wanted to be the player where that whenever other players versed me, they were like, okay, we want to try to stay away from him. Like make sure he doesn't get the ball. They set up defenses around stopping me. So I always felt like coming into the league that this was just be like going to Charlotte with Sherm. I just felt like it was like the perfect fit.
Okay. Yeah, that now before we get to, you know, talk about what some of the stuff you've been doing in the off season. Now, mind you, you got a teammate that just announced his retirement. And like you know, I wouldn't say that's trendy. I mean, because obviously, I think as the league grows and as players grow, you know, different avenues arrive, and players want to, you know, go try and do something different, or you know, follow other passions, and I'm all for that. But like, what are your, you know, how are you gonna miss Pete not being a part of Hornets Venom GT?
We're gonna miss Pete a lot. Going into the season, I didn't know that it was gonna be his last season till kind of like around Dallas time was when I kind of like figured, like when we were kind of told. So I was just happy to be able to get him his banner. I know 2 years before when he was on the Mavs, he wasn't able to reach that. They always had great regular seasons, but they weren't able to do much in the actual money tournaments and stuff like that. So for me to be able to get him a banner, and well, not me, but as a team to be able to get him a banner on his way out, it was just a surreal feeling because I knew how much it meant to him, and I could see it in his like day to day, like that was like it for him. Like that was all he needed to just top it off. So we're gonna definitely miss him a lot. I mean, he was kicking everybody down. I mean, I'm not gonna say the word, but you know what I'm supposed to say. But nah, he was just the perfect glue for us. Malin mindset throughout the whole year. Definitely held that mindset throughout the whole entire year. Appreciate him a lot.
Good. I think Pete has been a great, consistent player in the league, and probably a better person. More, first and foremost. Um, Off season, no tolerance. Back in Dallas, Texas,
Third time's
doing
the
what you do,
charm.
racking up another MVP. Like, I mean, talk about that for a second.
Um, Going to Dallas for the 15K. That was my third time going to Dallas, and I basically told myself I'm 0-2 in Dallas. I haven't even won a game in Dallas. I was technically 0-4 because I got swept in two best of threes. So going to Dallas, I basically told myself that I'm winning this tournament no matter what. So going into game one of the tournament versus some farewell. C's had a little bit of stage jitters, and it was pretty obvious. So I had to take over the game a little bit more than I expected to, especially like game one was kind of like a shocker. It was like we were beating them by maybe 25, 20 points, and then they started coming back. So I was like, nah, I'm not letting this happen again. I'm not about to lose in Dallas for a third time. So I ended up dropping like 30, and I ended up hitting the game winning shot as well in that first game. And then after that first game, everything just came into fruition, and we ended up just coasting through. But once we got to the finals, we were up 2-0, and then Revenge Tour ended up winning two straight. So we were in a best of five versus them. Going into game five was definitely a lot of butterflies from both sides, but nobody was really talking during game five. It was just everybody was just hooping. Everybody was locked in. It was no trash talk, nothing. Everybody was just trying their hardest, and then we ended up winning game five by like a pretty big margin to end it off for the night.
Got you, man. Well, congratulations for awesome NBA 2K League season. And then also, I mean, continuing that throughout the off season. I mean, you always been a player that, like you say, you grind the game. And
Appreciate that.
something I want you to talk about before we get to OG wants to know is that a lot of players that are trying to get into the league, they don't understand. They don't always understand. Sometimes that pro players take breaks when the season is over. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, not every player is awarded those opportunities to take breaks because you kind of know where you sit sometimes going into the off season, and then those who don't know where they sit, you have no choice but to continue to keep playing. But just talk about the mental toll throughout the season and why breaks are necessary in the off season.
The season is a lot on your mental. That like when people say that mental in the league is 90% mental and like 10% just like skill, that's like honestly true, because when my mental was bad during the time when Crown was benched, I was performing at my worst. That like 6 game streak when Crown was in the lineup, I was it even looked like I was a top anything in the league. So when Crown got back into the lineup, I basically got back into my normal self, and it was just like the mental side is definitely a lot more bigger than like anything, because you have to make sure that your mental is straight so that you can even play the game. Like because you have to wake up at 11 in the morning, scrim from 11 to like 6 at times, and then sometimes you got to watch film after that for like an extra hour, so you're not getting back to your apartment till like 7:20, 7 o'clock at night. So it's definitely a toll. You're doing it every single day. You might have one off day if you're lucky. um and going to tournaments, there's no off days, so you better make sure that little bit of time after scrims, they're getting your mentals right, doing whatever you got to do, because it's definitely one of the biggest things for the 2K league. Just keep your mental straight.
No, that's well put, man. Well put, and that's coming from a rookie.
It's facts. I think I forgot to answer the second part of the question. It was about coming
Taking
into
break.
taking a break. I actually see why like league players in the past were taking breaks coming back into retail, because in years prior the league bill was a completely different game than the retail game, but recently they've made changes to it to where it's basically similar almost. So I don't think anybody should be taking breaks at this point. If they want to be in 2K League, just like any other E League is always year round. So it's like we shouldn't be able to take 6 month breaks. I mean, everybody's back at home. You got a lot of different things to help clear your mental than being in a random city for 6 months.
Got you. Now, at this point of the show, as OG wants to know, answer open and honestly as possible. Biggest influence.
Definitely my mom.
Okay, what motivates you?
What motivates me, seeing other people have great success.
Okay, best part of being in the NBA 2K League.
Best part of being in the NBA 2K League is just being around a whole bunch of other people with the same goals and aspirations as yourself.
Favorite NBA player of all time.
It used to be Chris Paul, but it's actually probably Harden right now.
Okay, favorite quote.
Favorite quote: "Get rich or die trying." The favorite
uh,
quote.
favorite show on Netflix.
Favorite show on Netflix? Probably Squid Game.
Okay, favorite 2K.
I would say my favorite 2K. I definitely have two. 2K16 and 2K20. Those are like my favorite 2 years. 2K.
Okay, favorite genre of music.
Hip hop and like rap, definitely.
Ain't hip hop and rap the same thing?
Mm, in a aspect, yeah.
Favorite movie of all time.
Favorite movie, uh, like Mike,
Okay. Favorite NBA team.
the Nets.
Favorite place in Charlotte.
Favorite place in Charlotte, probably. I liked Waterman a lot.
Now
They had
what's that?
Waterman. They had like a whole bunch of different like seafoods and lobster crab roll. They just had a lot of different foods there.
Okay, seafood restaurant then, right?
Yeah, basically.
Now, if you wasn't in the NBA 2K League, what would you be doing?
I probably would be in college somewhere miserable. Simple,
Hey,
simple as that. If I was in 2K League, I'll be in college right now miserable.
hey, advice for upcoming players who are looking to get into the league. Now, hold on. There's two parts to it.
Yeah.
Advice. I want you to give advice to players who are looking to get into the league, and then also advice to players once they make the league.
Advice to players wanting to get into the league. Just make sure that this is something that you actually want to do with your life and your career, because it's definitely a big leap from going on the amateur side compared to the professional side, and it's something that you have to do for 6 months. So take that into account. Obviously, everybody wants to make money playing 2K, but it's something that you got to do for 6 months away from your family, away from all your things that you're leaving back at home to go pursue your dreams, basically. And then the second part of the question, what was the second part again?
When the advice for when players that aspire to make the league when they actually make the league.
When you actually make the league, just make sure you keep your teammates first, everything else last. Because if you can't go out there with all six players on a high level, then there's no point even going out there in the first place, because teammates always come first. Make sure that everybody is straight. There's no internal beefs. There's no lingering issues here or there after like practice. Make sure everybody's straight, and you'll have a lot of success in the league. Simple as that.
Gotcha. Well put. Now, before you get out of here, I want you to tell people how they can follow you on social media, your Twitch channels, YouTube channels. This is your time to plug yourself. So go with it.
My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/vrigby, and my Twitter is @RigbyCB. I also have a TikTok, which is vrigby, but I have to get more active on there. I got a few videos up there as of now, and I have a YouTube, which is just Rigby. But if you go to my Twitter, you can go to my bio and find all the links for that.
Got you. Well, Rigby, man, it's been a great interview. Definitely had a good time. Appreciate you coming on the show. Before, you didn't know this, but you'll be getting a free pair of Zennis coming your way.
Hey, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
So just be on the lookout for that. But like I said, thanks again for coming on, and look forward to seeing you have an awesome sophomore year. Just not against SGC.
Appreciate that. We 1-1 right now, so I definitely got to get that back right.
Got you. Well, thank you for coming on, man.
Appreciate you as well.
Hey, I want to thank everybody who tuned in for this episode. Remember, whether you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening on any other streaming platforms, make sure you subscribe to that too. Leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Also, leave a review. Helps us out a lot. Make sure you follow the OG 2 Cents Podcast on social media, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow myself on social media at OG King Kurt. That's Twitter, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, follow me on TikTok as well. Everything OG King Kurt. Make sure you can go to www.ogkingkurt.com for everything with the OG 2 Cents Podcast and myself. Make sure to subscribe to the OG King Kurt YouTube channel as well. I know I've been saying content is coming soon. I got to stop being lazy and get to it. But I got some interesting stories that I think that I want to share that I'm going to start putting on that channel. So make sure you subscribe to that when you get a chance. Shout out to my team, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, Cy Evermore, and Matrix for continuing to help make the OG 2 Cents Podcast what it is today. Catch me on Esports Extra every Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what host Larry Ridley, the crew, Kelly Wells Brinkley, Brandon Bell, Antonio Williams, Devin Royale, and producer extraordinary Kevin Mamuzet. That's Esports Extra every Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Black News Channel. Make sure you check it out. Also, you can go to www.skulls.com/OG King Kurt for OG 2 Cents Podcast and OG King Kurt merch. That's anywhere from t-shirts, hoodies, phone covers, you name it, we got it. So make sure you go there and grab you some merch. Also use the OG 15% to get the code to get 15% off your order. Appreciate it. Make sure you rock out of some nice stuff on there. We got some good colorways. So make sure you check that out. Make sure to tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG 2 Cents. OG out.
Put this work in, fellas. And much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yard.